I am here with Wicca Phase Springs Eternal, and we are at the Fillmore on December 20th. So first of all, congratulations on completing another tour. This is your last day, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
So how do you feel, to be back in your home state after being on the road for so long?
It's well, it wasn't a super long tour, but every tour does feel long. It's nice to end here. Last time we started here. But yeah, it's nice. Like, we'll have a lot of friends here, and family and stuff like that, which makes it sometimes makes it a little bit more stressful because it's a little bit more pressure. But overall, it feels good.
Awesome. So, was there anything about this tour in particular that was successful or exciting, or just an experience you had?
I think it was. I said it last night when I was playing too. That I toured a lot of these same cities earlier this year, just after releasing an album, and I didn't really have anything new out since then. So I assumed there wouldn't be a lot of people at the shows just because I had just been to these cities and whatever. And that wasn't the case. Every show was good. Every show was good. That might have been, it might have been the lineup at the Bills and stuff like that, but it kind of let me know that we've established a baseline. Okay, this is what I can expect when I go out on tour when I don't have a new album out, right? And then we can go from there and decide. So it was a learning experience. Other than that, it was a good crew. Different crew than I normally tour with, different merch person, different tour manager, stuff like that, but everyone got along really well. Everyone's pretty good at touring, so
Awesome.
Yeah, that made it easy.
Yeah, speaking of the lineup, you guys or I know Glitter is from Scranton also, or that area, right?
Yeah,
is
he's
that
from
how you
Kingston,
guys,
Pennsylvania.
decided to just do a whole northeastern PA tour together?
No, it didn't even. I didn't even think about it like that. That's just how it happened. But yeah, I had been wanting to tour with Glitter, and I know he's busy. He just got off tours, and he has more planned in the coming weeks. So I wasn't sure if it would work, but it did work. And I've known Ned forever, so I don't know. It was kind of a privilege for me to be able to play with him, and for him to want to do the tour. John has been one of my best friends for years now, so that was good. Anxious, I didn't really know anyone in that band, but their music is cool, and they're great. They're really cool. I feel like I have friends for life with them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. So I recently watched the music video for Hardcore, which was really cool. So did you have a creative say in that, or did you just kind of give an idea, or how did you make that?
It was so the person who shot it, his Little Adam is what he goes by, but he's friends with my girlfriend's younger brother. He's 19 or 20, and I think that's about how old he is too. And he had been shooting music videos for his friends, just local Scranton kids, and they were good. And I've never really had a dedicated video person before, where I can just the them and say hey, let's try and shoot a video. When you're shooting on VHS, it's pretty easy. You don't have to think too much about it. The aesthetic of the video is what the camera gives you. So we just found some easy locations to shoot in and stuff like that.
Where
we shot them in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Just some inside the this building that we rent a space in, and then some at a cemetery or I don't know what it was. An old mausoleum.
Yeah,
I think.
feel that area of PA, Allentown and Bethlehem, they have all those weird abandoned buildings that you can just go into, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty easy.
Cool. Okay, so I also see that you're going on tour in Australia. Is that you've toured in Europe before, right?
Yeah, I just got off a European tour before this. it'll be my first time there.
Yeah, Australia. Is that like the farthest you've toured before?
Yeah.
Are you excited for it?
I am excited. I'm a little nervous. I have no idea what to expect, but it should be fun.
Cool. That'll be a new experience for sure.
Yeah.
So are there any upcoming GBC or Misery Club projects that you're excited for? Not necessarily your own, but just as a whole.
GBC album has been in the works for so long. We went to a studio like this time last year, and recorded some songs for it. Only like a handful though, and I think that's going to be like one of the main focuses, getting that out in 2020. So that's a priority for sure. I also have other stuff that like I have to work on, solo stuff. Misery Club, it's whenever we can get together. I'm doing some stuff with Zubin, like right after this tour. So there'll be like Misery Club adjacent projects, but nothing like concrete as far as a next Misery Club release. I'm sure we'll do something.
Cool.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that for sure. So it seems like 2019 was a pretty big year for like goth and alternative rap. Do you have a say on that, or do you think you know why that is this year in particular?
No, it seems like a lot of the groundwork was laid in like 2016, 2017. So then over the past 2 years, we see that like really blowing up. Like, not that they're necessarily like goth people or anything like that, but like people like Post Malone and like Juice WRLD and stuff make it, they just bring it into the mainstream, you know what I mean? So that allows other artists that are kind of in that world. Like if I'm talking to someone who I don't think has any idea what my music would sound like, I would just be like, do you listen to the radio? Like it's kind of like Post Malone. It's not like that, but it's like, same kind of vibe, same setup and shit like that. It's producers and singing over that, right? So I think that helped. I don't know why else. I honestly don't. I have no idea.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That was great.
Okay.
And this one's just for fun, since yesterday was National Emo Day. So I have to ask, if and why the emo music movement from like the early to mid 2000s have inspired you both personally and creatively with your music.
Yes. Not necessarily directly, but I mean that's what I was listening to then, right? Especially like in high school and even before high school. I feel like I got into a lot of those bands kind of early, in my life, not relative to everyone else or anything like that. It was just like when I was like 12 and stuff, that was what was popular. Like Brand New and Taking Back Sunday were popular and stuff like that. So, and that's what I was like listening to and loved. And so yeah, definitely like as far as like helping with like the foundation of when I started writing songs and stuff like that, I was looking at those songs, so that's what I liked at the time, right? Now, not so much. I'm just trying to, here's what I always say, and I say this to myself and to other people. I don't know if I've said it in interviews, but I feel like if you're labeled as an emo artist or something like that, it's limiting in the sense that, how can I say it? It is limiting. It puts a cap on how many people can appreciate your music, because if they think, well, I don't really like emo stuff, right, then they might not even listen to it. People like Bob Dylan or something like that, or like Leonard Cohen or Nick Cave, who are great songwriters and regarded as amazing songwriters. No one would ever call them emo singers, even though there's a lot of heavy emotional stuff in their music, specifically Nick Cave and Leonard Cohen, especially Leonard Cohen. No one would ever call him an emo singer, right? They would just call him like a singer-songwriter. And that's kind of not what I'm trying to do, but I do have that in mind when I'm writing songs and stuff, to just try and think of how I can express myself in a way that doesn't necessarily fit into one specific genre, because if I do that, I'm limiting myself and my audience potentially, and I don't want that. That was a long answer. I obviously
okay.
like emo music and have been known to make emo music, so yeah.
Cool. Great. So I just have one more, and this one's also kind of fun. So you can take a little bit to think about it.
Okay.
But so just to close everything off, I love asking everyone I meet this. End of the decade, what would you say your top 10, or not even 10, just your top artists of the decade before 2020 would be?
Top artists of the day, like my favorites.
Artists, bands, anything.
Yeah. Let's see. Mount Erie has always been one of my favorites, and I feel like over the past few years he has pushed the boundaries of. Usually there's some sort of curtain or wall between an artist's personal life and like their music and stuff, and I feel like there's no wall with him. Like, he's putting everything he has into his music, everything he's thinking and feeling into his music. So I don't think I could make a list like that without talking about him. Mm-hmm. Lil Peep is another one when we talk about, like, going back to your other question, like, I don't know that this aesthetic and type of music would be so popular without him, mm-hmm. right? And his rise was so quick that I think that has to be, like, mentioned and, mm-hmm. and I don't know, recognized. Yeah, I don't know, because now there's so many artists, right? There's so many artists. It's so easy for people to get their music out there and, like, get it online. Yeah. And it makes it easier for people to find music that they like. Mm-hmm. Like, very, like, specific niches, right? Like, they're like, all right, I like when rappers, like, deliver, like, this sort of melody. They can find 10 other rappers who are doing that right now, releasing songs, like, right now. So that makes it kind of difficult. Now when someone asks me, like, have I heard of someone? I'm always like, no. And, like, because I'm off doing my own thing. I'm off listening to my own niche interests and stuff like that. That was a tangent to try and get around having to name other people okay. and not slight anyone. And I'd be okay with my top two being Mount Erie and Lil Peep.
That's a very solid top two.
Yeah, top pop artist, probably Ariana Grande, maybe Kesha. I don't know if her height came after 2010. If it would be like this decade, might have been a little bit before that. But she went through a lot of stuff. And that probably held her back from being recognized as, like, an interesting pop artist. Ariana Grande, obviously, super huge. Probably, like, one of the biggest artists in the world right now. Right? So probably have to mention her. If Kesha, Mount Erie, Lil Peep, and Ariana Grande are my top four, I'm happy with that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay, cool.
All right, well, that's all I have for you. I know doors are about to open.
Oh, cool.
So
okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, this was super easy.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for not asking me what my favorite food was. I've answered that a few times on this show.